All right. So we're at the end of 2023. It has been an absolutely crazy year, full of a lot of events. It has simultaneously been incredibly short and never ending at the same time. I'm not really sure how that works, but it's just been, there's been a lot going on. So, in particular, I just kind of wanted to reflect on the past year on this video. I want to follow up on my Why No One Understands Modern Air Combat video with the demonstration. I just kind of wanted to go over my thoughts about how the channel's progressed and by extension how I've progressed. I spent a lot of 2023 just studying my craft, trying to get better at it, making sure that I expand my knowledge as much as possible. I mean, it's a devotion at this point, if I'm being honest. I have spent a lot of time just reading, white papers, finding new sources, working on my production so I can have a faster turnaround time just to get these out faster, because they do consume a massive amount of time, honestly, from start to finish. Overall, I would say I've progressed pretty nicely. I think I have a pretty good back catalog right now of stuff. Honestly, like, the main point in this channel is, as I continue to gain knowledge, I just really don't want it to be bottled up with me. I really want there to be a place where, people who are just kind of discovering their passion for aviation, I want there to be a place where they can go and get information and actually learn about things. Because right now, everything is like so polarized and divided and opinionated. I really want to approach this kind of stuff scientifically, and I want it to be a place where you can actually get like good information. So that's the overall goal. That said, I do plan on updating a video here, so that one will get pulled. I'm not going to say which one at the moment, but that one will be updated for the year. And to start off the next year, I'm going to do a video on multi-engine safety. I think that'd be a good, interesting topic. So for this particular setup, what we're looking at, I'm actually getting a missile fired on me right now. So I wanted to iterate. Actually, I should just wait a second, because this is going to be interesting. So I'm going defensive right now and instantly get annihilated. So we're going to go ahead and reset this, and we're going to talk about what just happened, and we'll go into more detail on this. Okay, so we got the scenario set up again. Out in front of me is going to be a J-20. What I was doing is I wanted to try and come up with some counter 5th gen tactics in a 4th generation fighter. It quickly dawned on me that really it's just not going to happen. I think this is a really great example of what I was trying to iterate in my previous video about modern air combat. Essentially what it comes down to is, people think like, oh, everyone's like pulling 9Gs, going 50 bajillion miles an hour, all that kind of stuff. You got the adrenaline going on. It's just kind of an adrenaline junkie kind of thing, and it's really not the case. I mean, it's more reminiscent of just kind of like cyberpunk warfare, where everyone's like trying to hack each other and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you're doing more detective work than you are like actually fighting when you're in modern air combat. So in this scenario, I mean, no, I'm a pretty modern F-16, generally speaking. I do have a jammer pod on me, so, I'm not entirely defenseless. This is still pretty typical of what you would see in the front line right now. So we're going up against the J-20 like I mentioned, and if you compare the kinematics of the F-16 compared to the J-20, it's pretty obvious the F-16 wins by a landslide. The J-20 has some pretty bad adverse yaw tendencies when it's rolling. It does have some somewhat impressive pitch capabilities, but I would say it's about on par with like analog eagles, so it's not really that great if I'm being honest. The F-16, I mean, it's still limited to like 24 degrees of angle of attack, I believe. So even that's not that great, but at the same time, like, it sustains its energy so well. And not only that, but it accelerates exceptionally well too. You're really not afraid to get slow in this thing, because you can gain your airspeed in like 2 seconds if you offload it. So it's pretty obvious the F-16 has like far superior kinematics, I believe, between the two. However, it's not about dogfighting per se. And this is interesting too, how I made a slight mistake, and this could cost me. So it's a good thing I'm double checking stuff, but you know, it kind of shows how tight the margins are here. But I mean, it's not just like, you know, everyone's turning 9Gs, doing 2 circle, 1 circle stuff. I mean, the truth is like I mentioned in the video, it's about situational awareness. Like, how aware are you? And in this situation, you can see I am completely unaware. I have a missile flying at me at my 12 o'clock. I had almost zero indication. The only indication I even have a missile on me is my RWR chiming at me. That is the only indication I'm in any kind of danger. I have nothing on radar, I have nothing visually, I'm blind to the infrared, because the F-16 can't see in the infrared without a pod. I am completely blind to this situation. So I feel pretty confident I defeated that missile. It's still coming after me, but it doesn't have the kinematic performance to keep up. So I did manage to defeat 1 missile at least. But at this point, it's like my radar is not helping me. I'm trying to find a speck in a vast ocean, you know, more like the Pacific. I'm trying to stay fast. I'm obviously defensive. At this point, I believe I have another missile out on me, so we're on to missile number 2 already. Like I said, just trying to stay fast. Quickly diving into thicker air, and I'm entirely defensive at this point. So my quote-unquote superior kinematics are essentially just kind of delaying what we all know is going to happen. You know, people will talk about the J-20 and say like, oh, it's not as good as a Raptor, it's just a copy, that kind of thing, but the reality is, the Chinese are copying stuff they know works. And how do we know it works? Because we use it, and we know it works from combat experience. So I really wanted to like use this to illustrate, like I don't want people to think in as binary either. Like, you know, once you get past the whole, oh, it's not just about dogfighting, like there's so much more to it, it's a lot about subtleties, but people will think in this binary, like, well, if this isn't as good as this, therefore this is not a threat. And it's like, no, I mean, even if it's not as good, it's still pretty close. And as we can see here, if you're not a Raptor, you're still gonna get decimated. There's only like about 100 combat coded Raptors. This is an entirely plausible scenario if something happens, so. Anyways, I just kind of want to reiterate how important situational awareness is, and I want people to avoid thinking in that, you know, binary dichotomy. Like, just because it's not quite as good, it's still definitely dangerous. So, anyways, this is my last video of 2023, like I mentioned. We'll start off the new year with the multi-engine analysis, and I hope everything goes great for everyone that watches the channel.